Greetings. Welcome to Tabia African American Theater Ensemble stage reading of Front Porch Society by Melda Beaty. We are excited about our first virtual production in this new world norm where we find ourselves. The play showcases Tabia's ensemble cast and presents messages of struggle and perseverance and community and hope. We stand on the eve of Obama being elected in 2008 and the joy it brought to many of us. These are trying and important times, and we urge you to vote. When we vote, change happens. The sentiments expressed in the play are the playwright's amazing words and perspectives. I want to emphasize that this is a reading, so understand that brings some limitations, so you must practice active listening. Tabia celebrated its 35th anniversary in July of this year. Help us to continue our amazing work by making a donation at sjmag.org. That's sjmag.org. Your support is greatly appreciated. We will have a talk back and Q&A to discuss the play on next Saturday, November 7th at noon Pacific time. Please join us to share reactions and dialogue about the themes in the play. We will post the link at our website, sjmag.org. We also invite you to put your comments in the chat, only the kind ones, of course. The play runs about 2 hours and there will be a 5-minute intermission. Thanks so much for joining and enjoy the reading. Be well and be sure to vote.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Front Porch Society, written by Melda Beaty. Artistic director, Viera Whye. Music and sound, Glenna Brambill Williams. Narrator, Hedwig Gale Rucker. Characters, Carrie Honey, played by Patrice Payne. Alberta Johnson, played by Yvonne Woodson. Sister Stallworth is played by Veronica Talton. Miss Martha is played by Sharon Moore. Winnie, Miss Cheryl Scales. Towner, Mr. Jeff Jones. And Terrence by Mr. Joshua Cooper. Setting, Carrie's front porch in Marks, Mississippi. Time, Election Day, Tuesday morning, November the 4th, 2008. Wednesday morning, November the 5th, 2008. November the 4th, Marks, Mississippi. America is on the eve of its first Black president amidst the town's excitement. Act 1, Scene 1. Miss Martha sits quietly on Carrie's front porch with her walker and eyes closed. She is wearing a baseball cap that says, "Yes, we can," and a tattered shawl. Carrie opens her front screen door that opens to the left, blocking her view of Miss Martha. Carrie wears a black headscarf that ties in the front and a black house coat and house shoes. She plays her spittoon on the first seat and begins her calisthenics routine. She haphazardly bends over several times, touching her feet first, then her waist, and then stretches her hands to the sky. Afterwards, she grabs her spittoon and tosses the contents over the railing. As she turns to take her seat, she notices Mrs. Martha and jumps.
Miss Martha, how long you been sitting here? Miss Martha, I say, how long you been sitting here?
Carrie, when you get here?
I lives here, Miss Martha, remember? How long you been here? Who bought you this time?
Walks back towards her chair by the railing, plops down and feels under her seat for assurance. Next, she reaches in her housecoat pocket and carefully opens her pouch of snuff. She pinches off a wad and puts it in her bottom lip.
Joanne dropped me off about 7:30 on her way to work. You late this morning.
You know I watch Oprah in the morning.
You cooking okra this morning?
I say I watch Oprah in the morning.
Oh, Oprah. What Joanne say, Oprah come on at 4. Is it 4?
No, Miss Martha, it ain't 4. I tapes it.
Oh, she and the other girls at the bank watch it before they get off work, but not today. She says she's coming to get me at 4 so we can go vote. Thought maybe you were in there writing your letters like you used to do. I ain't want to disturb you.
I ain't writing letters no more.
Say you ain't. Well, when you stop?
Just ain't doing it no more.
I thought you said you was going to do it every year.
Well, I ain't.
But ain't this around Ricky's, you know, when he got in all that?
Look, Miss Martha, don't nobody give a damn about them letters. It was a stupid idea anyway. I just want to get through this day in peace, and I don't want to talk no more about any letters.
That a new house coat?
Nope. Same one I wear this day every year. I see you got that new hat on again. Don't match nothing.
Huh?
I say you wearing your new hat again.
Oh, yeah. I bought it from one of them men selling stuff outside the Super Value. He said it looked cute on me. So I've been wearing it ever since, every day since. But today's the day I could show enough wear. You voting today, Carrie?
Is that today?
Yes, Lord, it's today. In all my 95 years, I never thought I'd live to see the day when a Black man run for President of the United States of America.
Miss Martha, you were living when, what's that boy's name? Jesse Jackson reigned.
Who?
Jesse Jackson.
Miss Jackson's oldest son down on 3rd Street. Oh, I used to teach that boy school. Not too bright, but you know,
No, Miss Martha. I'm talking about the Reverend Jesse Jackson up in Chicago. He was the first Black man who ran for president back in 84 or 88, I think.
Don't reckon I know him.
Reckon you don't. Then that fat preacher who wears his hair like a woman said something about he was gonna run for president too. I could have told him wasn't nobody gonna vote for a man with a bad perm. You still got that cough? Thought you said it was getting better. You been back to see Dr. Wilson yet?
Oh, doctors don't know nothing. Just a little cold in my chest, that's all. Happens every time the seasons change. I drink enough of this here toddy, and everything gonna be all right.
What in the world is that?
Oh, just some Robitussin and a couple spoonfuls of honey and some Jack Daniels.
Lord have mercy. How long you been drinking that stuff?
Made it night before last. You know that goose grease Mother Dessa gave me to rub on my chest ain't doing nothing but making my clothes all oily. I drink enough of this here and that cold just gonna melt away.
If you say so.
Mm-hmm.
Weatherman says it's gonna be about 70 today. Expect I do some work in my yard when I get back from visiting Ricky.
Carrie's dogs bark as Towner enters with the mail, but hesitates.
Oh, hush up now. I say hush up now.
Morning, Miss Martha. Morning, Miss Honey. Miss Honey, them dogs back behind that fence?
Don't worry, Towner. Them dogs know who to bite and who not to bite. But I reckon you best not have a bunch of bills for me today.
Hands carry her mail. She looks through it eagerly, but quickly looks dejected. Towner holds out his hand to get something from her, but she ignores him.
I sure hope not, ma'am. I wasn't expecting you to be home today. Thought you might be up there at the church voting. I heard folks been waiting for hours to vote already.
My daughter gonna pick me up and take me to the church at 4. Carrie said she gonna work in her yard today.
Good a day as any. How your son, Towner?
Oh, he doing real good, ma'am. You know, he's a senior this year.
Say he is. He's
Yes,
still at Alcorn?
Oh, yes, ma'am. He's doing real good, too. He even been training for the Olympics. You know what the coach said? He said that he got the fastest feet in the state of Mississippi. Kind of remind me of me and Ricky when we was kids, and we used to race from here to see a Porch and run to Kroger's to get your groceries. You remember that, Miss Honey?
I remember.
You know, I would even take off before Ricky would say go. And no matter how fast I thought I was going, how far I thought I was out ahead of him, he always ran right past me. Oh, excuse me. I've been fighting a sore throat for a couple of days now.
You want some of this here tired? Carrie, go in the house and pour some of this cup in a cup for Towner.
No, ma'am. I'll be all right. I think you kind. Seems like everybody either at work or at the polls. Me and Miss Tyler voted weeks ago, and I'm glad we did. They expecting the largest voter turnout in the history of voting today.
Oh, Lord, I just pray they don't kill that man.
Kill him for what? He ain't the president.
No, ma'am, he ain't. But you know how white folks can be. Now, I believe they'd rather see a black woman like Shirley Chisholm in the White House before a black man. It's just something about a black man that brings out fear in folks. I don't know why, because it ain't white folks we hurt. I remember when I was a little boy and my daddy used to go down there to Key West to pick fruit. He'd be gone sometimes for 6 months, or sometimes a little bit longer, but he said picking fruit was probably the most dangerous thing he ever done. Black men falling out of trees like rain from the sky. My daddy fell a couple of times and broke his collarbone. But he just kept right on picking. Just kept right on picking. But he said, that's not what man is so dangerous. He's always talking about watching out for the other fellas. Okay? Because they would step on their own mama just to make a dime or two more. Crabs in the barrel is what he called them. No, it ain't white folks we hurt. But you know, I've been listening to all the debates and speeches, and I tell you, this Obama fella got folks' attention. White, black, Asian, Hispanic, young and old. Albert said that the students at Alcorn started an Obama club and even went door to door registering folks to vote all over Lawrence.
Hope he got time to study while he's out registering folks to vote.
Oh, yes, ma'am. He's studying all right now. You know, Miss Tyler, she gonna make sure of that.
How your wife, Towner? Heard she was sick.
Well, now, you know, she had that hip replacement last summer, but she doing fine now. Oh, yeah, you look here. I forget my head, if it wasn't attached to my body. She told me to be sure to tell you the next time that I saw you that she got that lemon meringue pie ready for you whenever you want it.
Lemon what?
Lemon meringue pie.
Oh, no. Last time I ate her pie, I had the runs for days.
Lord.
I'm sorry to hear that, Miss Martha. I'll be sure to tell her. Well, I best get going. Good to see you again, Miss Martha. Miss Honey? Oh, you know what I was thinking when I voted, Miss Honey?
What's that, Towner?
You know, I'll never forget in the 3rd grade, the teacher asked us to write an essay on what we wanted to be. And when we grew up, and I wrote policeman, and some of the other kids, they wrote teacher, nurse, preacher, that kind of thing. But you know, Ricky was the only one that wrote down he wanted to be president of the United States. Everyone laughed when he read his essay out loud, even the teacher. You know, it seemed like I was the only one that didn't laugh, not because we was best friends, because deep down, I believed he could be the president if he put his mind to it. And today, 50 years later, we get to vote to see if a black man will be the next president of the United States of America. You know what? Maybe he saw this day coming.
Well, we don't know what he saw. Now, do we?
No, ma'am. I reckon we don't.
All right now, Towner, you best get going.
Yes, ma'am. You sure you ain't got nothing for me today?
No, Towner, I don't.
Okay, then. You ladies have a nice day.
That Towner got manners to spare, but I don't fool with his wife's cooking. Like to kill me the last time I ate her pie.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about her pie no more after you told the man his wife's cooking gave you the shit.
Carrie's dogs bark louder as Sister Stallworth's car pulls up. Sister Stallworth is carrying a knitting bag with a partially made shawl in her hand. Her I voted sticker is on the front of her shirt.
Morning, Miss Martha. Honey, today is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. That sure is a nice hat, Miss Martha. You been to the polls yet? Joanne taking me after work. Rev and I been up since 5 this morning. We got to the church early to make sure everything was ready for the voting officials. Looked like there were about 100 people waiting outside for the polls to open. I mean, black, white, young and old, first-time voters, you name it. There was more folks outside this morning than in church on Sunday. We missed y'all at the prayer vigil last night. That was last night? And you two missed a glorious time. The choir sang "We Shall Overcome" and "Oh Happy Day." I remember when you used to lead "Oh Happy Day," honey.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. When Jesus washed, he washed my sins away, Lord. Oh, a happy day.
The pews were packed when you sang that song.
I didn't think the church cared about politics no more.
Wasn't politics, honey. It was prayer. You remember prayer, don't you? Anyway, Miss Martha, I wish you told me you needed a ride to the polls. Me and Rev would have been more than happy to pick you up. We could have picked you up too, honey.
My car run fine.
Well, I tell you, Marks is alive today. Yeah. It's been 10 years since Rev and I moved here from Pine Bluff, and I ain't never seen this much excitement about nothing around here. Well, maybe when McDonald's opened up on King Drive, but you would have thought Obama was from Mississippi the way folks around here smiling so. We making history in Marks today.
Seeing how it's only been 10 years since you and Rev moved here, don't see how you would know much about history in Marks, no way.
I beg your pardon?
The Poor People's Campaign in '68. The March on Washington started right here in Quitman County. That's when Marks made history. I know you remember that, Miss Martha. The Poor People's Campaign in '63.
Yeah, the mule train. My sister Bertha and I loaded up one of them mules. That's when that King boy came down here. Said he stood on Main Street and cried. Sure was a handsome man. Bertha and I walked as far as Selma, but we didn't make it to Washington, though. Of course, that was the year my third husband took ill. You marched too, Carrie. Honey, you marched?
Yeah, Sister Stallworth, I marched. Of course, that was real change for real people. Not this stuff y'all around here putting on bumper stickers and hats and carrying on like Obama is Jesus Christ.
Ooh, honey, you had your coffee this morning.
I ain't heard nobody call Obama Jesus Christ, and I do believe everybody around here is real people too. Shoot, we could all use some change after 8 years of Bush and all his hot mess. Or did you vote for Bush?
I ain't got to tell nobody who I voted for.
You're right. You're right. Well, I'm just glad to know there was a time when you weren't anti-everything. Did you vote yet? Just remember, the polls close at 7. Oh, and you know this year they got a special election too.
Special what?
The special election for the state Senate, Miss Martha. You remember when Trent Lott resigned last year? Well, we got to vote for a new state senator today too.
Lott, don't believe I know him.
You remember Strom Thurmond down in South Carolina, always shouting about segregation with his old self? Well, Trent Lott got into some trouble making some racist comments at a birthday party for Thurmond.
Well, what did he say?
Something about the United States would be better off now if we'd elected Thurmond president in 1948. I don't know how he figured a known segregationist would make anything better for anybody, except for white folks. Just foolishness.
Thurmond doing all that hollering against colored folks and got a daughter by a colored woman. Damn hypocrite.
That all he done? Shoot, all of us done bore some children for some white man one way or another.
Well, I told Rev I would come back to the church early to help close and clean everything up. Miss Martha, I thought about you last night when it rained. Has Joanne taken you back to Clarksdale yet to see Dr. Wilson?
Oh, doctors don't know nothing.
Show Sister Stallworth what you're taking for your cough.
Here it is.
That's what the doctor gave you?
Well, that's what she moonshined herself, claiming got some Robitussin and honey in it. But I can smell the Jack Daniels all the way over here.
Miss Martha, you can't cure no cough with alcohol. You got to let the doctor prescribe something for you. Honey, why you let her drink that stuff?
Let her? Last time I checked, Miss Martha was older than all of us. Claimed she even changed my diaper a time or two. I can't tell her what to do.
Next time I see Joanne, I'm going to talk to her by taking you back to see Dr. Wilson and that alcohol mess you drinking.
Gary's dogs bark again.
Honey, who feed those dogs this morning?
Not yet. I'll get around to it.
Why, they always sound so angry. I don't know what in the world possessed you to get such big and mean old dogs.
You know, one of my great-grandbabies got one of them small dogs. Dog so small, I stepped on his tail with my walker one day and he got the barking so sound like he was cussing me out.
Well, at least he's a small dog, Miss Martha. Honey keeps the nastiest barking dogs I ever heard. I'm just glad you got rid of them pit bulls.
I ain't get rid of nothing. Somebody poisoned my dogs. When it's on.
So you say. That was right around the time that child got mauled by a pit bull up in Clarksdale. They had to shoot that dog just to get him to turn the child loose. They just ain't safe around children.
I ain't got no children.
But is some across the street?
They ain't got no business being in my yard.
Children gonna run and play, honey.
Not on my property, they don't.
But what if a ball they playing with land on your grass or over your fence or they out there in the yard by your bushes?
Well, then they gonna get some teeth in their ass or a bullet in one. I have a right to protect my property how I see fit like everybody else. Nobody ever come on my property again unless I say so.
All right, all right. No need to get so worked up this morning. I read recently that dogs ain't supposed to eat raw meat on account it makes them vicious.
That's what y'all studying at Bible study on Wednesday nights? The type of foods dogs eat?
I'm just saying, honey. What you so mad about anyway? Got your black on the most historic day of the year like somebody done died and... Sweet Jesus, I'm sorry, honey. I forgot today is Ricky's anniversary. You been to Leopold this morning?
I'm fixing to go directly.
Have you written your letter today? You ain't said nothing about him lately.
Said she stopped writing them.
Why, honey?
Said it was a stupid idea.
Who said it was a stupid idea?
She did. She said she don't want to talk about it no more.
Honey, these things just take time. Look how long it took Mamie when her daughter
I
Clarice.
said I ain't writing any more letters, you hear? It's a waste of paper, stamps, and my time. Now, I said I don't want to talk about it no more, and that means I don't want to hear nothing else about it. Now, I got things to do today.
Exits Porch into the house and slams the door. Scene 2. Terrence leaps in front of Carrie's porch trying to catch a football that comes very close to the porch and lands in Carrie's yard behind her fence. Her dogs begin to bark. Terrence isn't wearing a shirt.
Whoa. Oh, good morning, Terrence.
Good morning, Sister Stallworth. I'm really sorry for throwing the ball over there. Oh, good morning, Miss Martha. It didn't hit anyone, did it?
Good morning, Terrence.
No, it didn't, but it sure came mighty close.
I'm really sorry about that, Sister Stallworth. Where's Miss Honey?
In the house. She'll be out in a minute. You're going to have to wait on her if you want your ball back.
Carrie re-enters the porch carrying her pocketbook, shoes, and flowers. She walks back over to her seat and begins putting her shoes on.
Good morning, Miss Honey.
Good morning, Terrence. What you doing out here in front of my house with your shirt off?
I think he look all right.
Terrence takes his shirt out of his back pocket and begins putting it on.
No disrespect, ma'am. Me and my best friend Charles, we're just playing a little football before school. He's going to Ole Miss on a football scholarship next year.
Well, what time does school start these days, Terrence? It's almost 10 o'clock.
It's a late day for seniors today.
A late day? I think you lying.
No, ma'am, I'm not. We get a late day a couple times a year, like for testing or special events.
Uh-huh. I'll be sure to ask your mama next time I see her about these late days. Now, what you want, Terrence?
Well, ma'am, my ball landed behind your fence, and I was wondering if the dogs were chained up, and it would be all right if I went to get it.
Terrence, you say you're a senior down at that high school, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That means you've been in high school for 4 years now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then how come you still can't read my sign that says no trespassing?
Oh, honey, Terrence wasn't trespassing. I told you kids gonna run and play. Let the boy go get his ball so he can get on to school.
Why? It's my yard. Ain't nobody supposed to be throwing nothing over in it. Terrence knows better.
It won't happen again. I promise, Miss Honey. If the dogs are chained up, I can get it real quick and be on my way.
And step all over my vegetables? Go on back there and see if they're chained up or not.
Terrence starts to move closer to the fence, but the dogs bark louder.
That's all right.
Terrence, I'll buy you another football. I mean, really, honey?
That's okay, Sister Stallworth. I got another one at home.
Before you go, tell Miss Honey how you played that piano in church on Sunday. Wasn't a dry eye in the entire congregation. Rev is so proud of you. Talks about you all the time. Miss Martha, you remember how Terrence played the piano in church on Sunday? Miss Martha? He's snoring.
Thank you, ma'am. I just thank God for the gift.
Yes, indeed. You play just like your mama. Rev told me you graduate next year.
Yes, ma'am. In June, going to the Marines.
Now, why you want to join the military in the midst of a war, Terrence?
Well, my daddy was a Marine, and my older brother is over in Iraq now. It's in my blood, I guess. Plus, when Obama gets in office, I don't think there will be a war for too much longer.
I sure hope not. Too many innocent folks have died already in that war. Lord knows we don't need any more.
That's right. I heard it too. Obama said on the TV one of the first things he's gonna do when he gets in there is to stop that war. Sure enough.
War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again now. War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Boy, y'all about as backwards as they come if you believe for 1 minute that one man's gonna stop a war. That war in Iraq ain't going nowhere. And while y'all busy hoping and wishing, they already planning the next one.
Ooh, if there's one thing I hate in this life, it's war.
The Bible says there'll be wars and rumors of wars.
Rumor? Ain't no rumor. It's the truth.
I talked to my brother the other day, and he says everybody over there really excited about Obama, but they try not to focus too much on coming home just yet.
They better not. They better focus on them Iraqis blowing themselves up every 5 minutes and killing everybody in sight.
Terrence, ain't you scared of what could happen if you go over there?
Ma'am, I don't focus on the dying part so much. I just want to be a soldier and fight for my country alongside my brother and the other Marines.
I don't know why they study sending black boys to the other side of the world to get killed. No way. Got y'all believing it's for your country. Ain't y'all reading the paper? Don't you live in Mississippi? In Marks? They been killing black boys here in the United States for free, and Obama can't do a damn thing about it.
Honey.
What? Terrence needs to know the truth. A black boy's life doesn't mean spit on a sidewalk. It didn't mean nothing in 67, and it sure don't mean nothing in 2008.
Well, I best it gets going. School starts at 10 today. Nice to see you again, Miss Martha, Miss Honey, Sister Starworth.
See you Thursday night at choir rehearsal, Terrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Terrence is such a polite young man. Comes to choir rehearsal every Thursday, church every Sunday. You shouldn't have been so hard on him, honey.
You can't be soft on these kids today. These kids crazier than a run-over dog. Look at Ernestine's granddaughter, round here dressing like a man. Willie Mae's son going with men, and Mark's got more pregnant girls running around here than the law allows.
You say Willie Mae's son pregnant?
Lord have mercy.
No, ma'am. She's talking about all the pregnant teenage girls in Marks.
Oh, yeah. I see them walking around here. But you know, I had my first child at 17. Seemed like it just kept coming after that. Married my first husband at 16. Oh, sap sucker. Carrie, you wasn't but a child yourself when you had Ricky.
Well, we ain't talking about me, Miss Martha. That was a different day and time.
Okay.
Well, quiet as it's kept. I had my first child 4 months after Rev and I got married. He wasn't a reverend then, and I wasn't a first lady. We all sin and fall short of the glory of God.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't mean to rush nobody, but I best get going.
You fixing to work in your yard?
No, ma'am. She's heading over to Leopold.
Leopold Cemetery? Oh, my last husband is buried over there. My boys, James Earl Jr. and Samuel, go over there every Father's Day to visit his grave. I went out there with him, when was that? 2 Father's Day ago, I reckon. That place so run down now. Don't nobody hardly seem to be working there anymore. You know, it took the girl at the front desk almost an hour to find his grave on the map. I tell you, ain't nothing in Marks like it used to be.
You want some company, honey? I ain't got to be back at the church for a while. I could drive you over there.
My car run fine.
Carrie's dogs begin to bark again as Winnie enters the porch from the side, carrying some apples in the front of her house coat with her house shoes on. She talks while puffing on a cigarette.
Carrie, I ain't feel like making no pies this time, so I bought you some apples on my tree. Oh, I didn't know you had company.
We here every morning, Winnie.
Sure is. How you do, Miss Martha? Sister Starward. Want me to bring y'all some apples too? They come straight off of my tree.
No, thank you.
I better not with these dentures.
Winnie, these apples ain't got no worms in them? That tree looking kind of pitiful these days.
Them the ones, the good ones. The raccoons ate the ones with the worms in them. Shoot. These apples are $1.69 a pound over at the Piggly Wiggly. Johnny said we need to start selling these and put Piggly Wiggly out of business. Child, y'all, everything so doggone high these days. Girl, I heard up in Jackson milk was $4 a gallon.
Don't know. $4?
That sounds a little steep to me. You sure that's right?
Yeah, Johnny's people live up there and they told me. I heard they might even close the Piggly Wiggly because folks ain't shopping like they used to. That just means milk is gonna be $4 a gallon here directly.
Be cheaper to buy your own cow.
You right, Miss Martha. And things just gonna get higher. Ain't nothing gonna change. White folks do whatever they want to do. And when McCain get in there, you ain't gonna be able to wipe your behind without paying for permission.
Well, what makes you think McCain is gonna win?
Cause white folks gonna vote for him and that old silly woman. That's white.
Are you voting today?
Here it come.
I ain't going to no polling places today. Not with the Klan out there blowing them up.
Blowing what up?
Honey, I heard the Ku Klux Klan is bombing polling places all over the South. Because they know more of us going to be voting in the South.
Winnie, I declare, where you get your information?
On the TV and the radio. Henrietta over there on 10th Street got a sister in North Carolina, and she say they done already bombed the church where they vote. She say they do it in the night before, but they likely to do it in broad daylight in March.
Well, I assure you ain't no Klan blowing up our church, so you are safe.
Well, I still ain't going. Plus, I heard they turn folks away left and right.
For what?
Girl, for traffic tickets, and if they find out you got previous arrest, they taking your ass straight to jail. And Carrie, you know that boot been on my car for 3 weeks now. Oh no, Lord, I ain't going nowhere near it. Nah. And Miss Martha, you better take that hat off because they ain't gonna let you vote with nothing that say Obama on it.
Miss Martha, you can put your hat back on. You just can't wear paraphernalia within 200 feet of the polling places.
I reckon they really don't want folks to vote.
I'm telling you, they don't. They don't want no black Muslim running this country.
Muslim? Obama's not a Muslim, Winnie.
How come he ain't? His daddy was a Muslim. His name is Obama Hussein. That's Muslim.
Just because his daddy might have been a Muslim doesn't mean he is. His daddy didn't raise him no how. His mama and grandparents did. And Obama is a Christian, just like you and me.
I don't know about all that, Miss Sister Starward.
Well, honey, you don't know if you're a Christian.
You in trouble now.
Oh, yeah, I'm a Christian. I go to Holy Zion Missionary Baptist Church every Sunday in Batesville, okay?
And smoke and drink Monday through Saturday.
I'm just telling you what I heard on the news. Obama's daddy's people are Muslim, and that's what white folks is afraid of, because Muslims killed all of them peoples up in New York. The other day I ran into Mr. Paris, and him and his wife at the laundromat, and they told me somebody called them and said that their voting places had just up and moved.
Nope, still at the church.
That's what I figured. But see what I mean? Somebody just doesn't want us to vote. No matter, no way. Old John is still over there in the bed. He said the line's too long anyway. Child, and I can't be standing in no lines with these bunions.
They're providing chairs to sit for anybody who needs it.
Well, I reckon that's good. You voting, Carrie?
I got more important things to do today.
Yeah, me too. But you know, I do hope Obama wins.
Really?
Sure. He seems pretty darn smart. And I think he just might do something good for the people if they don't kill him first. Remember I told you, Carrie, I heard that group down in Tennessee was planning to do it right now. And if I was Obama and his children... You all right, Miss Martha?
A little water, if you please.
Honey, you mind?
Down in there, cold water in the icebox.
Sister Stallworth exits into Carrie's house.
Well, I best be going on before I miss my stories. And Johnny will be up wanting his lunch soon. You let me know if you want some more apples, Carrie. It was good talking to y'all. Y'all take care, okay?
Whye exits stage. Sister Stallworth returns and hands Miss Martha a glass of water.
Here you go, Miss Martha.
Lord, that's one talking woman. I had to do something to make her leave us shut up. Carrie, I don't know how you live next door to Whye all these years.
She certainly is full of imagination.
Whye's harmless.
Well, good thing her husband stayed drunk all the time so he don't have to listen to her. I picked cotton with her mama, but she talked more than she picked. Poor child can't help it, I guess.
I just wish she wouldn't spread all those rumors about things she don't even know.
She said she heard. She ain't said she knew for sure.
That's all the more reason she shouldn't go around telling folks things she don't know for sure. Bombing polling places and arresting folks for traffic tickets is ridiculous. Some people just say anything. Honey, what you got cooking in there?
Chicken livers and cabbage.
Sure smells good. Anybody heard from Berta today?
You know she walks all over Marks every morning. She'll be here directly.
You know, I saw her down at Lipson's the other day, trying on some real pretty dresses. Said she getting ready for the big event. Wouldn't say nothing else after that, though. I told her we miss her here on Honey's porch.
What'd she say?
Just as she been busy is all. You know Berta. I think Rev told me she's one of the volunteers for the election today. Oh, and that reminds me, I was supposed to call Rev by now to see what time he wanted me to come back to the church. Oh, Lord, these numbers so small, I can't see nothing. Honey, can I use your telephone?
Sister Stallworth exits into the house. Carrie gathers her things. Towner returns.
Miss Martha, hey, Miss Honey, listen, I was on my way back to the post office, and I looked in the back of my truck and saw this here package with your name on it. It must have fallen out of my bag. You know, I swear I'd forget my head if it wasn't attached. So I hurried back to drop it off. It must be pretty important because they want you to sign for it.
Hands package to Carrie and pen to sign. Carrie reads the package.
Everything all right, Miss Honey?
Fine, Towner.
All right, well, I better get going. Now, y'all have a good day now.
Sister Stallworth returns to the porch. Carrie hides the package.
Rev said everything's set up for the election officials, and so I just want.
Carrie, y'all hurry up. Hurry up and turn on the TV. They talking about Leopold.
What you talking about, Winnie?
I was watching the stories on Channel 7 and they interrupted in the middle talking about folks been arrested down there for digging up graves and dumping the bodies in the field.
Today?
I just heard it on the news before I came back over here. I got a piece of paper and I wrote everything down. They say about 1,000 grave sites need to be inspected at Leopold Cemetery after 4 people tried to resell the plots. This summer, somebody visiting the cemetery found human bones all over the ground. You know we talked about how bad it was over there when you went to visit Ricky last year.
Mm-hmm.
The lady on the news, she said Leopold is broke too. They can't find any records of the money or nothing. She said they've been dumping the remains in the empty lots behind the cemetery. And that if you or somebody you know got relatives over there, to go to call the sheriff's office right away. And I ran over here as fast as I could.
Lord help us.
Carrie faints.
Carrie!
Winnie, go in the house and give me 2 pillows and a cold towel now. Carrie, honey, can you hear me? Honey.
Carrie, it's Miss Martha. Sister Stallworth, I got some smelling salts in my pocketbook.
Oh, okay.
Here you go.
Oh, thank you. Put the pillows under her legs. Honey, wake up. Honey, come on now. Carrie, wake up now. It's me, Sister Stallworth. You just fainted now. Be still, and we're going to take you to the hospital to make sure you're all right.
I ain't going to no hospital. I gotta get over to Leopold. Help me up.
Carrie, don't be silly. You got to get checked out first.
For what? She just said I fainted, that's all. Ain't got time for no hospital. Now help me up.
Honey, you ain't in no position to drive nowhere.
I'll be damned if I sit around in some hospital waiting on some doctor to tell me I fainted and Ricky's body could be thrown over in some field somewhere. I'm going to Leopold now.
Then I'm going with you.
Carrie and Sister Stallworth exit the porch in a hurry. The package falls onto the porch steps. A car is heard pulling off. Winnie picks up the package and looks at it oddly and tries to get Carrie's attention.
Carrie, your package. You forgot your package.
Well, I reckon you better put it in a mailbox. I'll tell her when she gets back.
Winnie places the envelope and mailbox on Carrie's porch, but leaves it sticking out.
You want to sit at my house?
No.
Okay, I'll come back and check on you. Lord only knows what they gonna find.
End of scene. Scene 3. Sound of car doors closing and dogs barking. Sister Stallworth is holding onto Carrie's arm as they walk toward the porch. Miss Martha is still sitting in her chair with her head back and her mouth open asleep on the porch. Sister Stallworth runs towards Miss Martha in a panic.
Oh, Lord, Miss Martha. Miss Martha.
Oh, is it 4 yet?
No, ma'am, but it's almost 2:30. You've been sitting out here all this time? We've been gone over 4 hours.
That right here.
I thought surely Joanne come get you by now. Have you had anything to eat?
Well, Winnie brought me some hog-head cheese, crackers, and Coca-Cola.
Well, what about using the bathroom, Miss Martha?
But she came back for that too. Plus she talks so much. I finally told her I would just use it in my Depends. Carrie, you okay?
Carrie walks quietly to her chair, sits in her seat, and feels underneath her chair for assurance. She pauses before taking out her snuff and pinching off a wad and placing it in her bottom lip.
It's a sin and a shame what they have done over there in Leopold. People from all over Marks, Batesville, Lambert, Crowder at that cemetery trying to find their people. The police done blocked off all Main Street on account of so many people coming. Folks was walking on canes and wheelchairs, crying and pleading for the police just to let them in to see if their relatives are still there. Some people were waving pictures of grave sites, obituaries, death certificates, whatever they could find to show that someone in their family is buried in Leopold. But the sheriff and the police ain't even talking. They keep saying it's under investigation. My Lord, one of the most joyous days in the history of America has turned into the saddest. Oh, I almost forgot. Miss Martha, I ran into your boys, James Earl Jr. and Samuel over there. They were looking for their daddy's grave.
Yeah, they were always crazy about their daddy, but I ain't cared too much for him.
Why not, Miss Martha?
Well, first time he just raised his hand in the air like he wanted to hit me. I looked him square in the face and he put his hand down real quick. But then one day when my back was turned, he hauled off and hit me. I waited until he got good asleep and I poured some boiling hot water all over his naked body. Now he didn't hit me no more after that, but I was tired of him anyway by then. Ooh, they ain't buried me at Leopold. I bought my burial plot back down in Yazoo City where my mom and daddy buried.
I think that was a smart idea. I heard there's so many missing gravestones and holes in the ground, the only way folks might be able to find their relatives is through DNA, and that could take months or even years.
41 years. 41 years I've been waiting, 41 years, and I ain't got another 41 to wait.
Don't worry, honey. They're gonna find Ricky's grave. I just know it. You still got all your papers, don't you? When I called Rev, he say he and other preachers meeting with the mayor tomorrow to see if they can't get Jesse Jackson to come down here to help.
Miss Jackson's oldest son down there on 3rd Street?
No, ma'am. I'm talking about the Reverend Jesse Jackson from Chicago. You know, the one who ran for president in 19...
Ain't gonna do any good.
Of course it will, honey. He'll help bring some national attention down here and help us get some answers and maybe even some justice.
This nation ain't concerned about a bunch of small-town black folks in Marks, Mississippi. You just said yourself, this is the most joyous day in the history of America. All those people down there at Leopold got a death certificate in one hand and an I voted sticker in the other. All this nation care about is this election and making themselves look good to the world. They ain't studying about some dead colored bones.
Honey, I know it look bad, but you gotta have faith. Faith is knowing everything is gonna be all right when everything don't look all right.
Really? Because I lost faith in this world a long time ago.
I'm not talking about having faith in man. I mean talking about having faith in God.
To do what? Faith in God to do what, Sister Stalwart? To stop some devilish folks from digging up the dead? From killing innocent black boys? From laughing at me for the last 41 years every time I sat at my kitchen table to write a letter for some help? Now you want me to have faith? God don't know
this far by faith, leaning on the Lord.
I say God don't even know where Marks, Mississippi is.
Carrie!
Look, Sister Stalwart, I just ain't in the mood for no sermon today.
I understand, honey. I do understand. You want me to check on your dinner for you?
Winnie turned it off. I think she fixed her plate too.
I ain't hungry. Think I'm just gonna go on back up there.
For what, honey? They got the streets all blocked off, and I'm sure it's hundreds of people up there by now. Besides, the police ain't letting nobody in. I think it's just best you wait till tomorrow morning. And I'll go with you again if you want.
She's right, Carrie.
But you know what I just thought of? The chair of our deacon ministry at church is a police officer. Maybe I can call Rev and get his number and ask him if he knows anything about what's going on over there at Leopold. Honey, you know exactly where Rick is buried?
On the east side of the cemetery, right under the second oak tree near the fence.
Or did you get a tombstone?
Worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, cleaning the Simon's place just so I could afford it.
Mayor Simon and his wife, oh, that no good rascal was as crooked as a day is long. Now his wife was as sweet as sugar, but she couldn't hardly open her mouth to speak unless he told her to. I know they moved some years back after blacks got the right to vote because he knew none of us was gonna vote for him anyway. I wonder what happened to him, or all of them. They probably dead like everybody else.
Old man Simon died about 10, 15 years ago, but Mrs. Simon
Pauses and remembers package. Looks around for it until she notices it in the mailbox.
Mrs. Simon what?
She knew I was working my fingers to the bone to buy Ricky a proper headstone, and she did all she could to help. She was a decent woman, just married a fool.
You say it was the mayor, Marks? Did he know anything about Ricky's death?
Plenty.
And?
And nothing. I couldn't prove anything, and I needed the work.
Well, did you ever try talking to his wife?
I don't know how they did things in Arkansas, Sister Stallworth, but in Mississippi, mayors, mayors' wives, sheriffs, whoever, they all thick as thieves, and that's all there is to it.
Well, I'll just go and call Rev now.
Exit into Carrie's house. Dogs bark. Alberta walks up in a pink jogging suit with her I voted sticker and an Obama button on the front. She whistles as she sits down on the porch steps.
Hey, everybody. How y'all feel today?
There she is. Sister Starworth talked about you earlier. Been missing you around here, Alberta.
It ain't been that long, has it?
Ain't know you was gone.
Well, where's Sister Stallworth anyway?
She inside making a phone call.
Sister Stallworth re-enters the porch.
Hey, Berta, so good to see you. Where you been?
I went up to Chicago again for a spell to visit my nieces. You know, that's where Obama lived. They took me to his neighborhood up there. Can't get close to his house no more, but I was close enough to take a few pictures.
Mm-hmm. Oh, honey, I talked to Rev, and he was still at the cemetery. He said he'd find Deacon Robinson and give him the message. I gave him your number to call back, and I brought your phone out here so you don't miss their call.
What's going on?
You ain't heard about what happened at Leopold today?
I've been at the church helping with the voting since 7 o'clock this morning. What happened at Leopold?
Child, they arrested 4 people down there for digging up graves and reselling the plots.
What you say?
Honey and I not too long got back from there before you came.
You know, now that you mention it, I did overhear some of the other volunteers talking about a cemetery, but I was too busy to get the whole story. Lord, I'm so thankful my husband was cremated. He didn't want to be in no ground decomposing. I'm going to be cremated too.
Cremated? That's when they burn your body. Ooh, that's too much like going hell for me.
No, Miss Martha, your body dead anyhow. Your heart ain't pumping, your brain ain't functioning. So who cares? It's your soul that matters. Ain't that right, Sister Starworth?
Yeah, Berta, but if you do choose to be buried, you have a right to rest in peace.
Whose rights we talking about? I didn't think dead people had rights.
Can we change the subject, please?
Oh, yes, of course, honey. So what else you do up there in Chicago, Berta?
Well, I went to service at Obama's church.
With that crazy preacher talking on TV?
Rev say he ain't the preacher there no more. Say he's retired.
Well, he sure enough was the preacher when Obama was there, so he must not have been too crazy.
Jeremiah Wright is his own man with his own opinions. That doesn't mean he agrees with everything he says.
Then what he joined his church for?
You would have to ask him that, Carrie. I don't agree with everything Reverend Stallworth says. No offense, Sister Stallworth.
None taken. Berta's right. No one agrees with their pastor 100% of the time. I've been married to Rev 45 years, and I don't always agree with him.
I didn't agree with none of my husbands, so I just kept getting a new one.
I ain't said I disagree with Reverend Wright. He just sounded like it is. Y'all know America ain't never done right by us. Then Obama sit up there and talk against his pastor in front of the world. I like to see one of y'all do that to Reverend Stallworth one Sunday morning.
No one says America's been fair. We ain't forgot about slavery, lynching, segregation. Every single one of us on this porch picked cotton. But times are different today, Carrie. Tomorrow, a Black man will be the next president of the United States. I can't believe it. Oh, no, I can't believe it. Y'all vote yet?
Joanne's picking me up at 4 so I could vote.
Oh, Miss Martha, I wish you had voted earlier. The polls are packed. I've been there since 7 this morning and people are still coming. I didn't even get a lunch break.
Well, Carrie got some chicken livers and cabbage in there.
Miss Martha, you know Berta's a vegetarian.
A what?
A vegetarian. She don't eat no meat.
Well, what meat ever do to you, Alberta?
First of all, beef contains harmful levels of dioxin, which is linked to cancer, heart attacks, and blood disorders. Not to mention what its production has done to the rainforest, the local economies, and all these fat kids running around here. All the mercury levels in fish these days and the microproteins in chicken.
More chicken livers for me.
I'm just trying to live as long as I can, especially with a Black president coming.
You know, we stop eating meat at the church at the beginning of every year. We call it the Daniel fast. Nothing but fruits, vegetables, and water for 30 days.
That in the Bible?
Yes, the story of Daniel is in the Bible, honey. Maybe if you come back to church, you can join us the next time we fast.
I'm all right with meat, and plenty of it.
Well, to each his own. Bernie is a vegetarian now.
Is that your gentleman friend?
Well, where his people from? I declare I know him.
You might have taught his mom and daddy in school since he's about 20 years younger than Alberta.
His people are from Natchez, Miss Martha, but he lives in Clarksdale. And he's not 20 years younger than me, Carrie. Age ain't nothing but a number, no way. Plus, I can't help it if younger men find me attractive.
Now, 2 of my husbands was younger than me, but I reckon it don't matter no way. Sometimes the older ones more trouble than the younger ones.
Bert, are you going back to the church to help out?
Yeah, for a little while. Bunch of us from our aerobics class getting together tonight to watch the election results. I started to stay up in Chicago. One of my nieces got tickets to the big rally they having up there in the park when they announced the winner. But I decided to stay home in Marks and celebrate with my friends and Bernie. Oh, but it would be nice to see Barack and Michelle and them cute little girls in person.
I still can't believe the White House is going to have a Black family running around in it.
They ain't gonna let them kids tear up that White House.
Who is they, Carrie? You always hollering about they. You been to the polls yet?
Ain't sure if I'm going.
She said she was going to work in her yard today before she heard about Leopold.
In your yard? Your yard can wait. You need a ride?
My car run fine.
So why you not going to vote?
Got other things on my mind today, so I ain't decided yet.
About who you gonna vote for, or if you're gonna vote at all?
I said I ain't made up my mind yet.
Well, you better hurry, cause today is it. You missed this chance, and I don't think we're gonna live to see another.
That's what I've been trying to tell Honey all day. Today is the day that the Lord has made. We better rejoice and be glad in it.
I ain't better do nothing. Whether I vote or not ain't gonna make a bit of difference.
What if everybody thought like you, Carrie? Then nothing would ever change. Blacks finally got the right to vote, and you won't even use it.
Seems like that is my choice.
Well, at least think about all the Black people all over the South who got sprayed with hoses and attacked by dogs, so you could even have a choice. It ain't been nothing but 43 years since we've been able to vote at all. And in every one of those elections, it's been some white man running for president.
So now you're telling me who to vote for?
I don't think that's what she's saying, Honey. It's just important that we exercise our right to vote. And it does help that a Black man is running.
And if he was purple, should I still vote for him?
Just vote, Carrie. Ain't you ready for a change? Mississippi, the poorest state in the union, and it's gonna stay that way unless we do something about it.
What makes you think Obama's gonna do something about it, huh? He don't know nothing about being poor. He don't know nothing about Mississippi, or me, or you. That man got y'all fooled thinking he's gonna change the way white folks think about us and the way they treat us.
Here you go with that they again. You know what you need, Carrie? You need to stop worrying so much about what white folks think and think for yourself sometimes. White folks ain't the ones that dug up them graves in Leopold.
Lord have mercy, can y'all please not start up in here today?
Ever since we were young girls up on Cotton Street, you always complained about something. And if you ain't complaining, you're blaming someone for something. You complain about the prices of food. You complain about the gas prices. You complain about the heat. You complain about the schools. You complain about the church. And you complain about Reverend Stalwart.
Watch yourself, Alberta.
And you blame everyone for everything. You blame the new mayor, the teachers, the neighbors, the police. You blame God when Ricky was kicked.
I said watch yourself, Alberta.
No, you need to watch yourself, Carrie. Watch what you say and who you blame. This little society you done created in your head ain't nothing but a front porch society. God done finally sent a man to right some of these wrongs Bush put us in. In all my 78 years, life has been a struggle. And maybe, just maybe Obama can make life a little better for everyone, including you. Now, if you could just put the past behind you and stop complaining about what you don't have, and just be grateful for the things that you do have. Now, I suppose you're gonna blame Obama for what happened down there at the cemetery. And another thing, you need to stop blaming the world for Ricky's death.
Carrie reaches under her seat and pulls out a handgun, stands and points it in Alberta's direction, but fires a shot into the air. The dogs go wild. End of scene, intermission. 2, Scene 1. Carrie is still holding the gun, never taking her eyes off of Alberta. Alberta falls to the ground. Sister Starworth jumps in her seat and tosses her knitting materials in the air. Miss Martha doesn't move.
Oh, my Lord Jesus of Nazareth. You can't be shooting guns off around here, honey. I thought you said you only use that thing for protection. You're gonna give Miss Martha a heart attack.
Somebody better take me to the bathroom.
Come on, Miss Martha.
Sister Starworth helps Miss Martha to the bathroom. They exit the porch into Carrie's house.
They shooting, Carrie. They shooting. I heard it all from my front window.
Winnie sees Carrie holding the gun and Alberta down on the ground. Winnie drops on the ground, spreads like a suspect. Carrie lowers the gun by her side and addresses Alberta.
Alberta Mae Johnson, as long as you squat to pee, don't you ever use blaming and Ricky's name in the same sentence. You don't know nothing about Ricky's death, because you were too busy running back and forth to Chicago with your fake furs and your menfolk. You weren't here when they came on this here porch at 2 a.m. You weren't here when they kicked my door down with the mangy dogs looking for Ricky. Wouldn't even let me open my own door and invite them in proper. They pushed past me with them dogs and their guns pointed right at my face. Those police dragged my son out of his bed in nothing but his drawers. I kept telling him, sir, he ain't done nothing. He ain't done nothing, sir. Ricky screamed, mama, mama. But they just kept pushing and kicking him down these steps. And when he was too weak to stand, they drug him by his arms along the concrete. They threw my boy in the back of that police car like they was taking out the trash. I called every police station in Quitman County, but I couldn't find Ricky for 3 days. For 3 days, he sat in a cold jail cell with no clothes, no lawyer, wouldn't even let him make a phone call, nothing. And for 3 days, nobody had the sense enough to call me. When I finally got to see him, they had kicked him in his ribs so many times, he couldn't even sit up straight. His eyes were swollen to the size of plums, lips bigger than his whole face. Police say somebody saw Ricky robbing a white woman's house in Clarksdale. That's what they said, Alberta. They said. I sat through all those trials. Nobody there but me and a sea of white folks and their fancy lawyers and all white jury. So that judge gave him 25 years to life. The lawyer they gave Ricky was as crooked as a dog's hind leg. Couldn't afford no good one. So I wrote letters to everyone I could think of to help get my boy out of that jail. Because God is my witness, he ain't robbed nobody. He wasn't raised that way. I wrote letters every day and not one response. Then I wrote every week, then every month, and finally every year, and no one, not the mayor, the pastor, the governor of Mississippi, not even the president of the United States even bothered to help me. But November 4, 1967, Sheriff Turner banged on my door to tell me that they found Ricky's body hanging in his cell wearing nothing but his drawers. Said he committed suicide, but he didn't. They killed him, Alberta. They killed my 17-year-old son for a crime he didn't do. So excuse me if I ain't ready to dance a jig about Obama or anything this world has to offer.
I didn't know, Carrie.
You don't know a lot of things, Alberta. You don't know what it's like to bury a child, your child, and nobody giving a damn. When his death certificate says suicide, and you know in your bones he was murdered, you don't know what it's like when the bastards that killed him go free and get to ride around Quitman County in the name of the law. They killed my boy, and ain't a damn thing nobody could do about it.
Oh, but you don't know that, Carrie. It's not 1967 no more. They got ways today to figure out what happened in the past. It's still not too late. Listen, Bernie used to be a lawyer. He had his own practice for years before he retired. I'm going to ask him to help you out to see what he can do.
You ain't listening, Alberta. Folks who killed my boy either dead or moved on away from Marks years ago. Don't nobody care about a black boy dying in Marks, Mississippi. And if his bones been dug up and thrown.
Carrie drops the gun on the porch. Sister Starworth and Miss Martha return. Sister Starworth slowly sticks her head out the door first before entering.
I'm gonna drive Miss Martha home. Joanne gets off work in half an hour. She's gonna wait for her there.
She starts gathering up her knitting materials and bag, grabs Miss Martha's walker, and helps her down the stairs. Miss Martha stops and looks over her shoulder at Carrie before slowly turning her walker around in Carrie's direction.
Belly. This thing that's got you is still in your belly. You carried it in there for 9 months, and 41 years later, it's still in there, Carrie. Lord knows I know what I'm talking about. Now, you know I raised 9 children, but I gave birth to 10, and only 8 still on this earth today. After Mr. John found out the child I was carrying was his, he struck me in my belly so hard that Ella Mae came into this world dead. I still got the scar on my belly where it hit me. But long before Ella Mae stopped moving inside of me, I felt her death in my belly. They sent 2 of my boys, Clarence and Lee Jerry, over to that war. None of us had ever heard of no Vietnam before then. Carried them both in my belly at the same time, and I could tell them apart just by how they moved inside me. Seems like Lee Jerry just stayed up here under my left breast, while Clarence just swam all around. The whole time they were over there, I listened to that radio about that war day and night. So when they finally made it back from that war a year later, I threw the biggest party Mark's ever seen. I hugged him so tight. Clarence said I was gonna suffocate him on his first day back. But when I put my arms around Lee Jerry, felt like I was hugging someone else's child. He just stood there like he didn't know what to do with his arms, like he didn't know me or his family and friends. Something wasn't right about Lee Jerry. I could feel it in my belly, right up under my left breast. He just kept to himself, never leaving the house. Finally, he took a notion to go out and hunt some rabbits for dinner. Took his daddy's shotgun, but I guess he changed his mind and went out in the back of the house and put that shotgun in his mouth. What they call it,
PTSD, Miss Martha.
Whatever it was, I felt Lee Jerry's death right here in my belly. And that's where you feeling Ricky. Now, ain't nothing fair about it, Carrie, but Ricky, Ella Mae, and Lee Jerry gone on now, and whether they find Ricky's body over there in Leopold or not, you got to get him out your belly. Release it now. Worry about the things you can change, because we ain't got no time for the things we can't. And another thing, don't you give up on God, because he never, ever gives up on you. Y'all take care. You hear?
I think it's time for me to go on back to the church.
Glory, hallelujah.
Winnie, what in the world are you doing over there on the ground?
Well, I was minding my own business when I heard some shots from my front window, and I came over here to see about Carrie. And when I saw her holding that gun up in the air and Miss Alberta on the ground, I guess my knees just buckled and I stayed down. Carrie, I'm so sorry about what you're going through.
Well, you can ride with us, Berta. I'm going back to the church after I drop Miss Martha off. I'll check on you later, honey.
They exit the front porch and the sound of car doors slamming and a car driving off is heard.
Carrie, I sure hate you had to pull a gun on Miss Alberta, but sometimes I guess that's what it takes. I know you said Miss Alberta get on your nerves sometimes, but child, I'm just glad it wasn't me. And when I heard them shots so close to the house, I like to jump up out of my skin trying to get over here. And Lord.
Winnie, not right now.
Okay. I checked on your dinner for you. Do you need me to do anything else?
No.
Well, I'm going back over to my house now. Oh, there was a package for you on your front porch, and I put it in your mailbox. Okay, now, if you need me, you just holler.
When he exits, Carrie picks up the gun and puts it in her housecoat pocket and sits back in her chair. After a pause, a car horn blows. Terrence enters.
Good evening, Miss Honey.
How do, Terrence? What you doing over here?
Mama asked me to drive around to see if anybody still needs a ride to the polls.
My car run fine.
Yes, ma'am. You okay, Miss Honey?
I'm fine, Terrence. You ain't still trying to get that football, are you?
No, ma'am. I got another one at home.
Don't you have some homework you need to be doing instead of riding around on the school night?
I did mine already because I wanted to make sure I had time to vote.
How you vote, Terrence? You only 17, ain't you?
Turned 18 September 26th. That was the same day Obama and McCain had the debate at Ole Miss. I registered to vote the next day. Me and my best friend, Charles, he's 18 too, went to register together. We even had a mock election at school last week, since most of the kids at Quitman High can't vote yet. Obama won by a landslide. Shoot, even if he don't win, at least I can say I was alive and voted in my very first election when a black man ran for president. Did I say something wrong, Miss Honey?
No, Ricky. Terrence, you better get going now.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to drive around some more in case someone still needs a ride. Just remember, Miss Honey, the polls close in 3 hours. Mama said we may never get another opportunity like this again.
Carrie nods her head and watches the car drive off. She spits out for the last time before grabbing her spittoon and phone. Before she goes inside, she tosses the contents over the side railing. The dogs begin to bark.
Oh, hush up now. Hush up.
She walks towards the door and pauses in front of the package sticking out the mailbox. She slowly removes it and sits down to open it and starts to read it silently. End of scene. Scene 2. Carrie wears a different color headscarf and housecoat. She's carrying her spittoon. She places the jar on the first seat and begins her calisthenics routine. This time she quickly goes through the motions of her exercise by pretending to bend over several times, touching her feet, then her waist, and then stretching her hands to the sky. She turns around suddenly to see if Miss Martha is sitting behind her. When she doesn't see her, she grabs her spittoon and tosses the contents over the railing. She takes her seat and reaches under her seat to feel for the gun before reaching into her housecoat pocket for her pouch of snuff. She pinches a wad and stuffs it in her bottom lip. Cars drive, blowing their horns and yelling, "Obama! Obama!" Carrie watches and shakes her head at the noise. Soon the dogs begin to bark as Winnie approaches from the side of the stage, puffing on her cigarette while reading the newspaper.
Morning, Carrie.
Winnie,
Where's everybody?
just me right now.
Girl, they probably didn't get too much sleep. How did you sleep last night, Carrie?
All right.
Child, I could hardly get any sleep with all of that hooping and hollering and carrying on folks was doing all night. I finally got up and turned on the TV. Yeah, Johnny can sleep through anything. And you know I like to watch my reruns of Matlock late at night. But it looked like they had the election results on every channel. Well, I guess you know by now. Obama won. Hey, hey. And I'm sure Sister Starwork would be happy to know that. But you be sure to tell her it wasn't cause of Mississippi that he won. It says right here. Despite young black voter turnout for Obama, 56% of Mississippi voted for McCain, and only 42% voted for Obama. Child, Mississippi been voting Republican for every president since 1980. I told Sister Starwork white folks gonna do whatever they want to do. You all right, Carrie? You ain't said more than 2 words since I've been here.
Can't, you talking.
Well, I just came by to tell you the news. I'm going back to my house. Johnny will be wanting his breakfast soon. I'll talk to you later.
Winnie exits the porch. Soon the dogs began to bark as Sister Stalworth pulls up onto Carrie's driveway. She is wearing an Obama t-shirt. She's singing Carrie's name as she skips upon the porch and takes her seat next to Carrie.
Honey, we did it, honey. We elected the first Black president of the United States of America. I was on the phone all night with my sisters and brothers in Pine Bluff after we talked about Arkansas so bad. You know, majority of the states in the South went to McCain. I tell you, the South would know change if it slapped it straight in the face. Oh well, it still didn't stop us from rejoicing and praising our God. It was a wonderful night. Don't tell nobody, but Rev and I had a little toast of champagne to celebrate. God sure does answer prayer. What you do last night, honey? I tried calling you, but I kept getting a busy signal. Then when I tried again, it just rang and rang. And I know you're not screening calls because you're the only person I know that don't use three-way calling or call ID.
I ain't heard no phone ringing.
Was the noise over this way too? Looked like every house on our block was lit up like a Christmas tree last night. I heard folks were all down on Main Street celebrating. We stayed up watching that rally in Chicago that Berta talked about. Looked like there was 1 million people out there. I saw Oprah Winfrey and Jesse Jackson listening to Obama give his victory speech. I like to cry when Obama came out there holding Michelle's hand with them 2 precious little girls. I figured you'd be up watching too, since you like Oprah so much.
Uh-huh.
Some of our church members talk about getting a bus so they could go on to the inauguration. My daughter and her husband are going, and some of my cousins too. Rev and I'm not sure if we can make it. Not sure where folks gonna stay when they get there anyhow. And they say all the hotels been sold out for months. Honey, why you so quiet this morning? And what's got your legs shaking so? Oh, Lord, honey, here I am carrying on and on. Did Deacon Robinson call you back? Did he find Ricky's gravesite?
Nope.
He didn't call you back, or he didn't find Ricky's gravesite?
I ain't heard no phone ringing.
Well, I'm sure he's just busy with the investigation and all. Next to Rev, Deacon Robinson's most honest man I know. He'll call you back soon as he knows something. Try not to worry, honey. You sure that's all you got on your mind? You ain't still mad about what Berta said yesterday, are you? Berta don't mean no harm.
I ain't studying about Alberta.
I sure hope not. Life is too short, and we are too blessed to be worried about someone said to us to offend us and then get...
I said I ain't studying about Alberta.
Fair enough. Where's Miss Martha? She usually here by now.
Joanne ain't bothered yet. She'll be here directly.
Probably tried to stay up all night watching the election knowing Miss Martha. They said people were standing in line when the polls closed, but they had to let them vote on account the lines were so long. I sure hope Miss Martha didn't have to wait too long.
Dogs bark as Towner approaches with the mail. He hesitates as he removes his hat.
Come on, Towner. They're chained behind the fence.
Hey, morning, Miss Henny. Hey, Sister Starwood. Now, how y'all feel this morning?
Mighty fine, Towner. And you?
Oh, I'm real good, ma'am. We didn't get much sleep last night because we were up all night watching the election results and talking to Albert on the phone. We just kept pinching each other to make sure we wasn't dreaming. But it was also a bittersweet night for me and Miss Tyler.
Why is that, Towner?
Well, right after I came back to drop off that package to you, Miss Honey, Miss Tyler called me crying about that thing going over there at Leopold. All our relatives are buried over there at Leopold. My mama, my daddy, sisters and brothers, and practically all of Miss Tyler's relatives. We was both born and raised in Mars. You know what? I just can't understand what makes someone want to mess with the dead.
Greed is still one of the 7 deadliest sins.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am, you're right. They say it's going to take some time before we know anything. I just pray folks responsible never see the light of day again. Miss Honey, I know you buried Ricky there, and I just want you to know that I asked about him when I was there yesterday, and I'm praying that they find his gravesite. Ricky was like a brother to me.
Thank you, Towner.
Oh, I almost forgot. Miss Towner wants to have a celebration dinner tonight at the house. Now, after hearing about Leopold, that she started to cancel, but then she figured folks need to come together now more than ever. And she wanted me to make sure to invite all of y'all. She said Miss Towner feels real bad about her pie making Miss Martha sick. Say she wants to make it up too.
That's mighty nice of her, Towner.
I'm sure she'll be real happy to know that.
Albert says that the students at Alcorn were so excited that they thinking about not even trying to show up for class today. And you know Miss Towner ain't having none of that. Oh no, they just having a little fun That's all. And you know, they deserve it after all the volunteering they did for Obama. He said today should be a national holiday. Lots of folks at the post office didn't even come to work today.
Well, I'm glad you had a sense enough to go to work and bring me my mail.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Now, I can't afford to lose my job. Alcorn ain't cheap. Well, I best get going. Now, you be sure to tell Miss Martha about the dinner tonight. And, Miss Johnson. And, Reverend Starworth, too. Now, you ladies have a nice day.
You going to the dinner, honey?
Town wife ain't fixing to kill me. Y'all go right ahead.
Well, tonight is Bible study and prayer meeting at the church, so we probably won't make it either. But it sure was nice of her to invite all of us and to try to do something to lift everybody's spirits. Honey, that package Towner talked about wasn't a response to one of your letters, was it?
I told you I wasn't writing no more letters.
I know what you told me, but I'm asking if that package had something to do with the letters you used to write. Why won't you talk to me, honey? You're quiet and your leg keeps shaking so? Something ain't right. I can feel it in my spirit. What did the package say? Was it about Ricky and what happened back when he was—
Why doesn't everybody just leave me alone? Get off my porch and just leave me and Ricky alone.
Sister Starworth grabs Carrie's hand. Carrie resists, and the package falls out of her housecoat. Both women bend down to grab it. Carrie gets it first.
Honey, I didn't come here to upset you this morning. You're going through enough already. That package is your business. So if you want to talk about anything, I'll be right here minding my own business. But I ain't leaving.
Something came for me, but it wasn't from my letters. It was from Mrs. Simon.
The woman you work for? The mayor's wife you and Miss Martha talked about yesterday? What did she say?
She dying, but she sent me some papers about Ricky's death.
What papers, honey?
Notes and stuff. It's so much stuff. I was too nervous to read it all. Thought I was going to have a heart attack right on my kitchen table.
My Lord, what did she say?
Dear Carrie, I pray you are the one reading this letter. Forgive me for foregoing the pleasantries as I don't have much time or energy these days. The truth is, I will probably be dead by the time you get this, for my heart is very weak. But what the doctors don't know is that it has suffered under the weight of so many secrets. Carrie, we've known each other for years, and for years I've known and felt your pain for Ricky.
Sister Starworth takes the letter from Carrie and finishes reading it.
What you didn't know was that I knew the truth about what happened to Ricky in that jail. And more importantly, who did it? I knew that my husband, Richard W. Simon, ordered your boy's murder. My husband kept notes of everything while he was mayor, locked away. But when he died, it all became my property. Today, I'm sending everything to you with this letter and my signature verifying the truth. Carrie, I know this won't bring Ricky back, but as God is my witness, I pray it will bring you some peace and hope. It's too late for me, but as long as you're living, I pray you never give up on hope. Forgive me. Sincerely, Clara Simon. Honey, you got to go to the police with this.
The police and Marks? You crazy? I don't trust the police as far as I can throw them. They're the ones who killed Ricky in the first place.
Not these police. You need to get a lawyer right away.
I don't know. Old man Simon dead anyway, and Turner could be dead too for all I know.
But you don't know, honey. Look, you've been carrying this hole in your heart for 41 years. 41 years. Now you heard what Miss Martha said. It's time to release it. It's time to stop doubting God and do something. Get a lawyer.
Carrie opens her mouth to respond as more cars drive by, honking their horns and shouting, "We won! Yes, we can!" Sister Stallworth waves to them. Alberta walks up wearing an Obama t-shirt, hat, sweatpants, and gym shoes. Sister Stallworth immediately greets her.
Hey there, Berta. I declare, you done bought the Obama store out. It's so good to see you today, girl.
Sister Stallworth, Carrie, it's good to see you both too today. Carrie, I've been thinking, and I owe you an apology for the things I said to you yesterday. I had no business telling you how to feel about Ricky. Now, I know I may have been in Marks when Ricky died, but I remember him, and I remember how much you loved that little boy. I wish to God I had been here, because ain't no way I would have let you go through all that hurt by yourself. We've known each other too long, and I know we don't always get along, but I do respect you, Carrie, and I love you, and I'm so sorry. And I shouldn't have been so quick to talk about what's happening at Leopold. Now, I know you buried Ricky there, and Sister Stallworth is right. However people want to be buried after they die is their choice. And nobody has the right to disrespect that choice. Oh, I sure hope they find his grave, Carrie.
Alberta, since we was little girls, you always been fast, and Lord knows you got a mouth on you. But I accept your apology, because I know you mean it.
Oh, thanks, Carrie. That really means a lot to me. I remember you telling me about those letters and how you write them once a year now. I talked to Bernie like I promised about Ricky's death, and how you've been trying for years to get someone to look into the case so you can get some closure. He still knows a lot of people, and he said he's willing to help you any way he can.
Well, thank you.
Child, me and my friends from my aerobics class partied until midnight. I was so tired this morning, I decided to sleep in instead of doing my early morning walk. I ain't stayed up that late since I was running around with the Elks up in Chicago. Bernie surprised me this morning.
What? Did he propose?
No, Lordy. I already been married to the best husband anyone could ever have. God rest his soul. Nope, something better. Bernie got us 2 plane tickets to Washington, D.C. for the inauguration. He said he bought them 3 months ago because he just knew Obama was gonna win.
I declare, Berta, that's wonderful. Where y'all gonna stay? They say the hotel room's booked all over Washington, D.C.
He booked that too when he bought the plane tickets. He always thinks ahead.
Sounds like you got a good man.
We just tickled pink. As I was coming over here, everybody just smiling with their Obama t-shirts and hats on. I talked to my nieces up in Chicago last night. They called me from the big rally they had downtown. Everybody was screaming and shouting so I could barely hear them. CNN said there were over 250,000 people in that park. Child, I do love Chicago, and Lord knows I did my share of partying when I lived there. But today, it's just not the same. It's too many people, cold as hell, and I could buy 2 houses in Marks for the price of renting 1 apartment up there. Marks ain't perfect, but I guess now that I'm older, It suits me just fine.
Oh, before I forget, Berta, Towner stopped by to deliver Honey's mail, and he said Mrs. Towner's cooking a big dinner tonight to celebrate Obama's victory.
So you did?
Yes, and he wanted to make sure I told everybody, including you.
Well, did you tell him that I don't eat meat?
No, I didn't think about that, Berta, sorry. But I'm sure Miss Towner will have other things there that you can eat.
It don't matter no way. Whatever she's cooking may look like meat, but I declare it won't taste like it.
That ain't nice. You two stop it now.
The dogs start to bark. Towner slowly approaches the porch and removes his hat.
Towner? Shh. Y'all hush up now. Come on, Towner. I'm sure the dogs are chained up. Towner, is something wrong?
I just ran into Joanne delivering mail on Miss Martha's block, and Miss Martha died sometime in the night after Joanne brought her back from the post. Joanne said they waited for over 3 hours. She kept asking Miss Martha if she was tired and wanted to go home, but she said she waited 95 years for this day. She wasn't leaving until she voted. When Joanne came by this morning to bring up here to Miss Honey's poach, she was gone.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Oh, no, no.
I'll go call Rev.
I'm real sorry, ma'am. I had to bring y'all this kind of news today. Y'all take care.
Every day, for 1 year after Ricky died, Miss Martha came over to see about me. When I wouldn't get out of bed, she pulled a chair next to my bed and talked to me. When I wouldn't eat, she still cooked all my meals. When I couldn't pray, she bought her Bible and prayed for me. She had children of her own to tend to, but every day for 1 year, she came to see about me, and she been coming ever since. Never married Ricky's daddy. One of my brothers gone on, and the other one somewhere down in Georgia. Miss Martha was the closest family I ever had after Ricky, and now she gone too. Lord, no.
Oh, it's going to be all right, Jerry. Miss Martha lived a good, long life. Shoot. She was the oldest person in Marks next to old man Thomas. Outlived all her husbands, taught school, picked cotton, raised all those children, including some of us. Remember how when we were little and she used to bring all those books from Miss Helen's house? She'd say, "White folks use something once and throw it away." How she used to make bologna sandwiches and tea cakes for all the kids in the neighborhood. Yes, she lived a good life, and she was good to everyone. I believe Miss Martha died when she was good and ready.
Sister Stallworth returns to the porch.
Rev was on his way to the funeral home when I called. I'm gonna go meet him there. I brought your phone, honey, in case Deacon Robinson calls.
Sister Stallworth bends down to pick up her knitting bag.
Oh, Lord, I almost forgot. I've been knitting this shawl for Miss Martha for the past 2 weeks. I was going to give it to her today.
She holds it up. Obama 2008, yes, we can, is embroidered on the front. She folds it and places it back in her bag.
95 years still don't seem long enough. Honey, remember what I said. I'll call you later.
You want me to get you anything, Carrie?
No, Alberta, you going home now.
You sure? I ain't got nothing to do right now, no way. I could stay here and keep you company.
No, I just want to be alone.
All right then, if you say so. I'll come back later to check on you. You know where to find me if you need me.
Berta,
Yes, Carrie.
I tell Bernie I'm gonna need his help looking over some papers for me.
I sure will, Carrie. I sure will.
Exits the porch. Carrie sits back in her chair for a while. The phone rings.
Hello, this honey. Who's this? Oh, yes, Deacon Robinson. Yes, I can hear you. Yes, sir. Oh, that's okay. I know you're busy. Did you find anything? Under the second oak tree on the east side. Yes, sir. Ricky Cleveland Honey, 1950 to 1967. You say it's still there? It ain't been touched? Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, Miss Martha's husband? Oh, Lord, I don't know which one. I expect it could be any of them. Tell her what? Well, you see, Miss Martha, never mind. Okay, yes, sir. Thank you, Deacon Robinson. Thank you.
Terrence runs past Carrie's porch.
Miss Honey, we did it! We did it! We elected our first black president! Can you believe it? I ain't been asleep yet.
Terrence, hold on a second.
Carrie opens the door, screen door, and steps inside briefly, comes out holding a chewed up football.
Here's your ball.
Thank you, ma'am.
Terrence,
Yes, ma'am?
you be careful over there, okay?
I will. It's a new day, Miss Honey. A new day.
Yes, it is.
Terrence exits the porch. Carrie spits out for the last time before walking over to Miss Martha's chair.
Oh, happy day.
She slowly runs her hand over the top of the chair.
Oh, happy day.
And reaches into her housecoat pocket.
When Jesus
and pulls out her I voted sticker.
Oh, when he walked.
And places it on Miss Martha's chair.
Oh, when he walked.
Before she enters her house.
Sins away. Oh, happy day.
End of play.
Can't you feel a brand new day? Can't you feel a brand new day?